People always talk about going to heaven. This man says he died and went to hell.
Did you see the devil?
His incredible journey to the dark side.
How did you make your way back?
His fascinating account you'll only hear on our show. Then she died and went to heaven.
You're without oxygen from what we can tell for about 10 minutes.
Back from the dead. Stories that make you question everything.
The afterlife is a real place.
Coming up next.
Today's show will make you question everything you know about life and death. We've studied patients on this show who have died and claim to have seen heaven. They have all detailed accounts of what heaven is like and who they saw while there. But never in the history of the show has anyone seen hell and come back to talk about it until now. Today you're going to hear from a man who says his experience in hell was so bone-chilling, it changed his life forever. Then world-renowned psychic mediums Char, Margolis, and John Edward are here together for the very first time to tell you how to get in touch with our own intuitive powers. And they're going to reveal what the messages from the other side really mean. But first, please meet Matthew. Now, he says when he knocked on death's door, he was sent to hell. Take a look.
Matthew Botsford was 28 and married for just 2 years when a random act of violence forever changed his life.
I was in downtown Atlanta, just finished a business dinner, and gone outside to hail a cab, and then it happened. Unbeknownst to me, there was 3 9mm carrying gentlemen behind me, intoxicated, just looking for trouble. I never did get in that cab. One of the guys behind me from 50 yards pointed up at me, took a shot. All of a sudden I just felt this, like a thump first in the back of my head, and then this excruciating, searing hot pain entering the right rear of my skull. Like if you heated up a very sharp, very long hypodermic needle and just plunged it in the back of your head and continued to push it all the way through your brain. I felt my body just become lifeless. I felt it crumple. I felt the strength leave all my muscles, and I just felt my bones and everything collapse to the ground. I felt for a moment the coldness of the sidewalk. It was like somebody was pouring very thick black ink slowly, across my field of vision. There was no light any longer, just impenetrable black.
Matthew joins us. Thank you for being here. So I understand that bullet is still lodged in your head.
Yeah, the bullet's in the front right part of my lobe to this day. They chose to leave it there.
It's more dangerous to take it out.
Yeah, it'd be like a frontal lobotomy if they tried to take it out, causing vast personality change, memory loss.
It's a miracle that the bullet is able to get where it is and not have killed you while getting there, much less getting it out. Let me bring Nancy, your wife, into the conversation. So, Nancy, Matthew was in a coma for 27 days, if I understand correctly, and doctors, not surprisingly, didn't think he would survive. What was that like?
It was amazing because they were saying because of the brain swelling, because of the penetration of the bullet, the brain damage, that there were 30% chance if he's going to make it through the night, and they didn't think that. Even after that, they were saying he would be probably in a wheelchair and maybe have to be in an institution because of the brain swelling.
Now, while you and the doctors were dealing with the real problem here, at least in our conscious existence, Matthew, you're in a coma. And you say while there, you were experiencing the most realistic torture ever imaginable.
Yeah.
Describe what was happening.
Yes. I was hung crucifixion style, shackled at the wrists, left and the right, both ankles, in this cavernous, massive underground area, if you will. There were stalactites hanging from the ceilings, stalagmites coming up from the ground, and there was different ledges that I could see off in the various distances. Mm-hmm. And it was just so cold and so evil. These imps, if you will, or creatures of some sort, these round globe-like looking objects would come at me from like the very far away, and they would just zip at me and just stop. And I could feel them I could feel that they hated me. And they had long talon like on their arms, their teeth putrid smelling. And they just mocked me because I was in their domain. This was where the demons of hell live. And they would come around my backside, and with those talons, I could feel them like shred the skin off my back.
Ooh.
And yet, how painful that was, I felt that reform, and that was more painful. I began to understand this was an eternal nature. There was no beginning, there was no end that I, Matthew Botsford, could change or had anything to do with. There was this lava flow that started to come at me from like the upper right area, and it would bob and weave around the different rock formations, and as it neared where I was hung, there was like a precipice before me, and so the lava would just drop down and just to this endless pit, just disappear beneath me. But the globulates would drop off that little lava flow and hit me below each knee, left and the right, and just burn my flesh pure off. I could smell my own flesh burn.
Ooh.
I could see the bones in my feet, all of them. And then again, like on my back, I sensed and I felt my flesh reform, again, that eternal nature.
This is remarkably detailed. While you were there, I mean, many religions believe there's a devil or a Satan. Did you think this was his domain? Did you see the devil?
I didn't see the devil per se, but I knew these creatures were under his control. I could tell there was a hierarchy among them. They were his to do his bidding against people that they hated, and that I'm sure Satan himself hated.
And how long were you in this shackled, crucifix-style torture?
The best I can answer my time, because it was an eternal type nature experience, would be probably 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Do you believe, I mean, obviously this is something that would change anybody who experienced it, but did you believe in the afterlife before you were shot?
Regarding the afterlife, I had really no thought about it, neither one way or the other. Obviously, it wasn't a big belief of mine, because if it was, I would have thought about it. Mm-hmm. So, no.
And how did you make your way back from hell? I mean, you're completely without power. What allowed you to escape from there to come back to be with us today?
A simple prayer from my wife.
What was the prayer, Nancy?
The prayer was basically, I said, Lord, bring back my husband, bring back his personality, his heart, and who he is, and I promise to stay with him. And that was it. It was a prayer of desperation, a prayer of everything that I had in me for that prayer.
So when that prayer occurred, what happened to you? What was your sense of what was going on?
Oh, it was on my end. It was as if the thick blackness that I was seeing before me, it was as if somebody was pushing through it, like through a black garbage bag, if you will, a layer with a finger, because I just saw this protrudence come. And as it pushed through further and closer into me, I saw an entirety of a man's hand come through this blackness. And it looked just like my right hand, cracked, creviced, but I could tell it was old. It had been around a long time. And as this hand started to descend towards me, it brought this brilliant white light. Finely ingrained white feathers started to come about it and about this realm I was in. This beautiful music, incredible orchestral music, singing, just celebration. And his hand just grasped me about my waist so gently, you know, like King Kong, Faye Dunaway thing. But then I heard this voice, so simple but profound, immense, sounding like a clap of thunder, bolt of lightning, rushing mighty waters like Niagara Falls, all combined together. And it just said, it's not your time. And then I felt this elevator like lift straight up and out,
So why do you think this happened to you, Matthew? Why would you have sensed that you were in hell?
The reason that I believe that I experienced the cell in hell was because I didn't know the Lord. I had no relationship with God's Son. That's what I believe.
You know, I was so startled to hear your story as we were preparing for the show that we did some research, and it's only about 10 to 15% of all people who've had near-death experiences like yours believe that they've gone to a bad place. Are you afraid of dying now?
No, not at all. Absolutely not. To die now, I know exactly where I'll go. I'll go into my Father's loving arms as opposed to the opposite way.
Thank you for being here. When we come back, actor Tracy Morgan reveals who he believes is responsible for sending him back from the dead.
Next, Tracy Morgan opens up about his own near-death experience. Plus, meet a woman who should have died after a car accident that left her with no brain function. What she said she saw when she crossed over, and what led her to come back. Next. We love guacamole, but some store-bought stuff doesn't contain any avocados.
Some companies are still selling fake guacamole.
It's like taking the apples out of apple pie. What's the point?
Our Food Truth series tells you what's really in there. Then, want to start a diet? See why the month of May is the best time to start one and stick to it. Plus, the top 10 fat-burning foods you should be eating for summer. All new Oz.
That's coming up tomorrow.
When you're in a coma for 8 to 10 days, you basically knocking on the door.
Yeah, you're knocking
And
on
I can
the door.
remember, I don't know if I was in the coma or in and out of the coma, I just came, but I remember just having I was talking to my dad. He had this green thing on. I just remember him saying, "I'm not ready for you, son."
Really?
And I started crying so hard. I was crying hard, probably harder than I cried at his funeral. And I just kept saying, "Dad," because he was my best friend in life.
That's Tracy Morgan on Super Soul Sunday on OWN talking about his near-death experience. Now, he believes he was in heaven when he saw his father, and it changed him forever. Frankly, of the thousands of near-death experience cases that have been studied, many, like Tracy, report a joyous reunion with deceased loved ones. And that includes my next guest, Julie, who had no brain function after a devastating car accident. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I look at that car accident, and it is remarkable anyone would have survived. And yet, you somehow miraculously were in a coma, not quite dead, but not with a very good prognosis. What did you see when you crossed over?
I was all of a sudden in a vast open area, no floors, no ceilings. Everything was white. And it was just vast and open. And I knew I was there because I was dead. And the only thing, there was to the left-hand side, there was this narrow aisleway. Those were the only walls that were up. And the brightest light was coming from the floor, coming up the walls of the aisleway. And I was drawn to go down that aisleway. But I knew I was there because I was dead, and it was perfect peace. And I wanted to stay. I felt like I had gone home, that I should be there. That's where I belong.
And did you recognize anyone or anything there?
Well, all of a sudden, you know, when you feel that there's somebody or something in the room, the next thing I knew, I was before my two deceased grandmothers. And they appeared to me to be the elderly women that they were. And I began a conversation. Well, we began talking. My one grandmother and I began talking. And I said, "Come on, girls, let's go." Like they were going to follow me down the alleyway. I was so happy to see them and that we could all go down there together. And my grandmother said, "No, you can't go with us. You have to go back." And that was the first time I felt tense and nervous. And I said, "I can't go back because I'm not physically okay." And I was pointing to my left side that was paralyzed. And she looked at me, and I couldn't take my eyes off her eyes. There were these intense tunnels of blue light. And she said, "Your body," and it wasn't actually words, but it was like thoughts that were being conveyed to me. And she said, "Your body will heal." And then she said, "Go back and be happy."
And so you did. It was that easy that you literally turned away from them, and next thing you knew, you were awake?
The next memory I had after that was waking up from the coma.
So, you know, your story, and frankly, Matthew's before you, begs this question that I think a lot of us struggle with, which is why, or is it true that bad people go to hell and good people go to heaven, right? We're told that from the moment we can remember anything. Research, I've got to say, has demonstrated no relationship at all. It's much more linked, it seems, to what the emotional state of the person was again. So we can't draw that conclusion, but I'm still struggling with why we have that belief system in us. I mean, I look at your records here, and these are from the day of your injury. And these are incredibly grim statements about swelling in your brain, your pupils weren't moving, you're making these motions that people make when their brains are about to stop functioning.
Right.
Now, how do your doctors explain how this patient on these papers, who should be clearly not with us, sitting next to me talking, as articulately as you, is able to sort of survived? There you are when you're in the coma state.
My doctor told me, my neurosurgeon told me that there was a death rate of 96% of people with my injury die within the first 24 hours. And then the very few people, singularly, who live after that 6-month period, most will die due to complications, and they will be like in a nursing home being toileted and fed. And that was the best case scenario, that I would live like that for a short period of time. They call it a miracle. They call it a miracle. That's what they say.
And how has your near-death experience colored your life and your view of what death may hold for you and everybody else?
I really, and I know this may sound, and let me complete the answer. I look forward to death, and not today, not tomorrow, but I will welcome it in my life when it returns. I feel like I went home, and I will be happy to go back there once again. I don't fear it at all. I feel like this is borrowed time that I am here, and I am here for a purpose, that we're all here for a purpose, to do the best that we can, and so that's what I'm trying to do.
Beautifully stated. Next, we're going to hear from someone who says that heaven is everything you had hoped it would be. Stay with us.
Next, a routine scuba dive that went horribly wrong. She calls her visit to heaven the most angelic and euphoric place. What she wants you to know about crossing over, and why her journey back was a living hell. Next. This is your Alzheimer's wake-up call.
If we can diagnose it early, we can intervene.
The newest at-home test to assess your risk.
I'm going to take this test, and you're all going to take it with me.
The medical breakthrough.
It's about the Alzheimer's pill.
All new Oz.
That's coming up Friday. We're back with my next guest, who describes her visit to heaven as the most angelic and euphoric place. Now, you've heard two scenarios so far today. First, someone who was rescued from hell, and second, a joyous reunion with a loved one. But the most common scenario is this general feeling of peace. It was a routine scuba dive that went horribly wrong and left Darnisha without oxygen for 10 minutes. Here's her story.
My husband Scott and I both love scuba diving. And just after we got back from our honeymoon, we went on a lake dive in northern Michigan.
We were exploring the bottom for about 30 minutes when I noticed bubbles coming off an air hose on Darnisha's buoyancy control vest. It was malfunctioning. The BC vest is critical. It's what gives you the buoyancy you need to go up to the surface and to float if you need to. So I gestured to Darnisha to send her up to the surface to attempt to fix the problem.
I was able to ascend, but once I got to the surface, I couldn't get the hose to attach to the vest. At the same time, my dive weights were pulling me down, and with my vest being deflated, I was having a hard time staying afloat.
I was keeping my eye on the time, and when Darnisha didn't return, I started making my way back to the surface.
I tried to fill my vest manually by blowing into it, but it wasn't working, and I was getting winded and tired fast. I knew that Scott was somewhere below me, and I was praying that he would appear, but he was nowhere to be seen. I was completely alone. I was out of any energy that I had left, and I knew that I was getting ready to drown. I could feel myself sinking underneath all of the weight. I knew it was over, and I could feel myself drifting off into eternity.
Darnisha and her husband Scott are here. So Darnisha, you're without oxygen from what we can tell for about 10 minutes.
Yes, sir, that's right.
You have brain death in 5 minutes in a lot of people.
So I've heard, yeah.
Do you remember the moment you began to drift off?
I definitely do. I mean, I remember the moments up to that really striving to keep my life. So trying to stay on the surface, trying to get back to the shore. And I just couldn't make it. And so just before I drifted off, I said a prayer, Lord, I just want to prepare my heart before I go, because I was a believer in Christ. And so I had set my heart and my mind right. And I said, okay, Lord, if this is the way it's going to happen, then I'm going to die like this today. Because I'd always been petrified of drowning. I'm like, you can take me any other way. I just don't want to drown.
And you're a scuba diver?
Yes, I was an advanced diver at the time.
That tempts fate if you don't like drowning.
It's true. It's true. And you would think everything that you're supposed to do, you know, I did. Hindsight is 20/20. You know, I could have done a lot of things.
But the moment that you started to lose consciousness, what did you
Yes.
see? What happened then?
Well, as soon as I said, okay, Lord, if this is going to happen, then I trust you, I got this overwhelming peace. And at that time, that is when I drifted away. I drifted away, and when I woke up on my knees in this beautiful place that was so peaceful and that was so pure. I can't really describe it in words that people here might understand. It just was like nothing I had ever experienced.
Was there music? Were there people you recognized?
There were thousands of people there, but there weren't people that I recognized. There were thousands of people, and they were walking in these crisscross lines towards what looked like a gateway ahead of me. And there was a voice that was speaking to me that was telling me, now that you're here, here's what you're supposed to do. As if we had been having this conversation all the time. And I looked ahead of me, and there was a desk, looked like a desk. And there was a woman that was an angel that was standing next to the desk. Mm-hmm. She was very bright, very peaceful looking, and she started talking to me. But what captivated me is that as she was talking to me, she didn't move her mouth. We never spoke by moving our lips. We spoke telepathically to one another, which is unusual, I guess, but that was my experience.
Well, I just heard it from the prior guest saying the same thing. So Scott, while this is all happening, you're watching your wife drown and trying to do CPR in the water.
Yes. We were several hundred yards from shore. It was a miracle that I found her. The current had pulled her away. When I found her, her eyes were wide open, mouth full of water. And it was hell. We were just married a couple weeks, and now I'm holding my dead wife in my arms.
So it's hell for you, meanwhile you're in heaven.
Yeah.
And so what do you tell other people about dying?
I tell people, one, make sure that you cherish the ones that you have in your life at that moment, because you never know when it's going to be over. But two, make sure that what you believe and who you are believing in now is in order, because there is hope. There's something more than right here and right now. The afterlife is a real place. It's a real thing.
Thank you for being here. Mm-hmm. Nice job. We'll be right back.
Coming up, top psychic mediums John Edward and Char Margolis share their secrets about this ever-growing phenomenon, communicating with the dead.
Our energy can pull someone from the other side.
What happens when I turn the studio over to them? Next. Is your guac a fake? Our Food Truth series tells you what's really in there. Then, see why now is the best time to start a diet and stick to it. All new Oz. That's coming up tomorrow.
Today, for the first time ever on this show, two of the world's top psychic mediums, John Edward and Char Margolis, are here together to share some of their secrets. Go ahead and give them applause. You all know them. They're going to share some of their secrets about communicating with the dead. Now, more and more, I'm hearing from patients, from viewers like you, staff members on my show who are using mediums. So I am curious. I'm guarded, but I'm curious about this growing phenomenon.
At early ages, both John Edward and Char Margolis knew they possessed unusual and powerful abilities. At 15, a chance encounter with a psychic changed John Edward's life by confirming what he already knew. He could predict the future and communicate with the deceased. From an early age, Char Margolis knew she, too, shared the same intuitive powers and skill. John has gone on to reach millions worldwide with his groundbreaking hit television series and is a New York Times best-selling author. Char has earned international acclaim and a decades-long following with her high-profile readings, crime investigation work, and desire to help others find inner peace and healing. Both share their strong conviction that their abilities can be learned and used to build a better, more fulfilled life.
John Edward and Char Margolis, come on out.
Hi. It's good to see you.
Welcome back. John, how are you?
Nice to see you again.
Please have a seat.
Thank you.
So this has been a fascinating show for me. I know you were watching backstage. We talked to folks who have passed over. I have medical records showing that they shouldn't be here. And yet they saw things most of us aren't privileged to see. Do you hear a lot of these stories?
I just had a client that happened to. She saw her mother and father, and they said, come, and she said, I'm not ready yet. And the stories that you told where the husband was praying for her, and our energy can pull someone from the other side, because the most important thing is love. Mm-hmm. And that's the bridge between here and the spirit world, and there's nothing more important in the world than love, period.
When you all receive communications from the dead, I'm just curious, how did the messages come to you? I was struck by some of my guests earlier saying they didn't actually see lips, they just sort of sensed the information.
For me, when I'm getting information, I see it, hear it, and feel it, and it's not like an out loud voice that goes, hey John, tell him my name's Joe. It's more of a energetic download, and then what it is that I'm seeing, hearing, and feeling, I then pass on.
I did a little survey before the show, just looking around for what people's biases are, and 72% of you believe in an afterlife. And our audience today is made up of both believers and skeptics for that reason. It's, it's split a little bit. So take a look at some of the questions we were asking them.
I am 100% believer, totally.
I absolutely believe that we have another life to live, actually many lives.
I think certain people have been given that gift to connect through other realms.
Everybody is a source of energy, so that energy has to go somewhere. It just doesn't vanish.
I'm very skeptical. I just believe that it's hard to understand how a spirit can come through and connect with somebody. I would love to believe them. Yeah, there's no proof, so it's questionable.
Well, it's a valid point. Where's the woman who just said that she didn't believe the last one? Yeah, come over to you. Thank you for being honest, by the way. I know it's sort of easy to become pulled in, but what's your name?
Kim.
Kim. So, I've got my guests there, and they're very honorable people who don't mind hearing negatives and positives. So I'd like to hear, first of all, why you a skeptic, but also more importantly, what would it take to change your mind? And you're speaking for a lot of people, so don't feel alone.
If I hear that connection that they start to talk about, people that passed in my family, get me thinking a little bit more. It may change my mind. I have my best friend here who is trying to do that, but she hasn't yet. It's just hard for me to get all the information clear that spirits are coming through and talking to them. I just can't with that.
So, Char and John, what do you say to very rational people who are skeptics who think this can't possibly be? You put me in that group still, because I'm still trying to find my way through this.
Well, I could say this. I think the way she just said that, she's somebody that you can actually have a conversation with. So I think that when you have somebody who's open-minded and objective, then if you see information and you have that experience, whether it be with a medium or on your own, then they're going to be able to go like, okay, well, that actually happened.
All right, the floor is yours. Do what you do best. We're going to ask our, two guests to just see what they're sensing from the audience. I'll go to where you want me to go, but the floor is yours.
Okay. I'm actually having what? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The skeptic and her friend, have them stand up.
Stand up?
Yeah.
You should have spoken up.
Oh, she's being bossy now.
Okay. Now, I need you both, I'm not sure because you're together, and that'll happen when John reads. Just be open about everybody living and deceased. There, as you were talking, there was a big M initial. It was an M or an A initial. Do you have someone deceased that's an M?
I do.
Don't say the name. Is a female M?
Yes.
With an R in it? Is it like a Mary? Is it Mary?
Yes.
Is this your grandma?
Yes.
Okay, sit down. It's for real. No.
Have you guys met before?
Are you changing something with your work or your home?
My life.
Your life. Okay. Is it a romance thing? Was there a breakup or a change?
Yes.
Like a divorce? Or a breakup?
Yeah, a breakup.
She's saying he's not really the right guy for you anyway, and you knew that when you first met him. You had a gut feeling, but you didn't listen to it. Duh. That's your intuition. That's your intuition. What she's saying is there'll be somebody better for you down the road. And there's a big J initial, but I don't know who that is. There's a J. Is that the guy?
No.
Or is that someone else?
Someone
that
else.
you like?
That I love.
Was he spelled J-O? Or like John or Joe? Or J-O?
J-O.
Was he the one R? I don't know. It's not John or Joe, though. Or Joel? I don't know the name. Jose?
Can I say?
I don't know the name. Huh?
Can I say?
Yeah.
It's actually Jimmy Orlando. That's my brother.
Oh, J-O are the initials?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure that it's going to be him, but there's going to be somebody else who's going to be right for you because you still have karma to accrue with some guy. Thank you for allowing me to do this.
Thank you for helping me understand better.
So what do you think about that?
It's unbelievable. I can't. I believe a little bit more, I guess you can say.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back. Take a quick break. Coming up, Char and John are going to show you how you can harness your own intuitive powers. And Char heads to the streets of New York City to find out what spirits she will find there. We'll be right back.
Coming up next, John Edward takes the studio floor. See what happens when he connects with the audience.
I see him in a wheelchair, and it's a weird chair.
Yes, that's my father.
Who has the R name? Where's the R name in the family?
That's me, Rosalie.
Next. Whoever said a doctor's visit isn't fun has obviously never been to the Dr. Oz show. Is that right? Make your appointment today. Go to droz.com/tickets and sign up for free tickets. We are back with psychic mediums John and Char. John, it's your turn. Take it away.
I'd like to come over there if I can, and I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. If this makes sense, you can raise your hand. They're telling me to talk about somebody that they come from Europe, they come from Germany, they're not from here. They were born some other place, but they were a double amputee, or was like missing both legs, or was paralyzed and needed to be in a wheelchair. In that section. It's in the first 3 rows. I really feel pulled to the one with the red jacket. Like what started me to get to you is like, I'm really, really pulled to you. Yeah. That's why I thought I was gonna read you. That's what pulled me to you. No, it's not going away.
Well, if somebody's feeling like there's a double amputee and you're not saying it, or you had an uncle that had it, or somebody connected to your family, there's gotta be, because when he gets his stuff, he gets it.
And it doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away, and I'm going to hear about it for the next month. So would you please acknowledge whatever this is?
Yeah, we have a breakthrough here, apparently.
Great. Here you go. There's somebody. He gets it. He gets it. I've seen him work a zillion times.
My mom's dad, this is my mom, her father was paralyzed from stroke.
Both legs?
It was a massive stroke to one side. He couldn't walk at all.
So did you have to like take care of him and everybody had to take care of him?
Yeah,
okay.
my mom did.
The feeling is that whoever had to take care of him in life I appreciate the energy of what was done because I see him in a wheelchair, and it's a weird chair. It doesn't look like a normal wheelchair. I used to work in a hospital, and it doesn't look like a normal wheelchair. So I feel like whatever apparatus he was in, either he didn't want to be seen in the wheelchair, so they would make sure you took him out of the wheelchair, and then the wheelchair went to the side.
Yes, that's my father.
Okay.
He had a commode chair, and we used to bring it to him in the living room. And he was always saying my angels to my mother and to me and to my son, because we took care of him.
And who has the R name? Where's the R name in the family?
That's me, Rosalie.
Okay. And then is it your daughter or is it his daughter that's passed? Somebody lost a younger female. He has a younger female that's with him. Where's Diana Marie or Donna Marie? Who has a name like that? The initials are DM. There's something DM. If that's not for you, again, here's what I always say. You might want me to like pee in a bowl, but I might hit the wall, right?
Okay.
31 years, it's how it works. In that section.
Well, on that, we'll be right back.
Coming up next, John and Char come together to share exactly how their gift works.
I think that divine presence talks to all of us if we kind of listen.
Trust the first thought that comes to your head.
And how you too can tap into your own intuition.
It was amazing.
Find out next. Is your guac a fake? Our Food Truth series tells you what's really in there. Then, see why now is the best time to start a diet and stick to it. All new Oz.
That's coming up tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Char.
Hi, I'm Kathy.
Lori, thank you for doing this. Karen, it's a pleasure to meet you. I just need you to be open-minded about everybody living and deceased. Sometimes I see spirits. The information comes through me, not from me. Kathleen, is that your grandma?
Yeah, my grandma.
Your grandma, and she's deceased?
Yes.
Her spirit's with you. Did you have someone that's a Louis? Louis? Louis your dog.
My baby.
Was there somebody who's a J around you?
Yes.
A male?
Yes.
Was he spelled J-O?
J-O. He's my husband.
Did you guys have an issue recently?
Yes, he just got injured and he has been out of work.
I feel like he'll be able to go back to work.
Stop it. Because we just came out of the orthopedic and he just got a letter saying that he can go back to work.
Maury? Is that your dad?
My grandfather.
Your grandpa. Maury's here, and then there's an S.
My father.
Is he Sam?
Yes.
And he's deceased, right?
Yes.
Sam is with you. Have you been going through a frustrating time recently?
Yes.
He's saying it's a new beginning. There's somebody that had a cancer scare. It wasn't you though, right? Or did you?
I did.
And did they fix it?
Yes.
Yeah, because she's telling me she's going to take care of you. I got goosebumps. Do you?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what that means?
And tears. What?
And tears. Okay, well, it means that that's the truth. David and Daniel?
David's my husband, Daniel's my father.
And Daniel's living, right?
No, Daniel's deceased.
Daniel's deceased? Okay, then Daniel's here watching over you. But he knew David, right?
Yeah.
He likes David. He says David's a good guy.
Yeah.
David was the right choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like David is gonna always take care of you. Thank you for letting me do this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I hug you?
Yeah.
Two of the women that Char met on the streets of New York are here. Karen, it's a little emotional to see that.
It was. It was.
And did it help you to hear that message of hope? Char's communicating something your relatives are trying to send back to you?
Oh, absolutely. It had been an open wound for 35 years, and it gave me closure. It was amazing.
And Laura, I'm just curious, what surprised you the most about your conversation with Char?
Well, the whole thing actually surprised me, just to take it a step back. The first words out of her mouth were that she mentioned someone named Louis around me. Louis is my dog, and anyone that knows me, it's my baby, and it was shocking, actually. But then the other thing that really resonated was she mentioned my father, and Char said something about the fact that he was watching over me. It was a shock and a great thing to hear, and very comforting, actually.
Glad they lifted your burden. Thanks for being here. So John and Char, what do you teach people about how to harness their intuition?
I think the first thing we have to do is we have to have a strong foundation in faith, whatever that is. I always say faith is free, and however you want to kind of frame that faith is a person's choice in religion. But I think having a strong foundation in faith is important, and trusting that inner voice and trusting that there is a higher power helps us to be able to listen differently. All the people at the top of the show talked about this divine presence and how it talked to them. I think that divine presence talks to all of us if we kind of listen.
So how do we actually do it? I mean, give me the
you know,
ABCs.
Animals have instinct, people have intuition. So the first thing to do is let your mind go blank and to trust the first thought that comes to your head. And you have to have the 4 C's. You have to have the courage, confidence, commitment to conquer. The courage to do it and to make a mistake. The confidence to go ahead and trust yourself. To commit yourself to doing it, and then you'll conquer it. And you conquer it by acting upon it. But you have to, you can't just do it in a second. You have to let your mind go blank and then trust the first thought that comes to you. When I teach this, I have everybody really tuning in on things.
Thank you both for being here very much.
Oh, thank you.
We'll be right back.
This May on Dr. Oz, the truth comes out. The biggest food truths exposed. Is diet ice cream making you fat? Is your olive oil fake? See what's hiding in your food. The biggest weight loss trends in America. Waist training disasters you have to see to believe. And botched surgery. What happened to the woman with the hole in her stomach? The truth comes out this May on Dr. Oz.